Are you ready to step up your graphic creation game? Well, in this video, I am going to show you exactly how I create all of my graphics for the marketing and the promotions and the quotes and all the fun things that we do as business owners on social media, so you can start to add your own personality, build your own personal brand. So stick around because it's going down now. Hey my friend, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, I'm so glad you made it. My name is Jen Johnson and I help Christian entrepreneurs grow their faith and their business while stepping into purpose, creating impact. So today we are diving into graphic marketing. I'm such a geek about graphics and aesthetics. It's just been a part of me forever. I remember even when I was planning my wedding, I was creating all the table cards, all the invitations. I just have always been someone that loves to create graphics. And if you're someone that feels like I just don't have the eye, or I'm not creative, or I'm not techie, I'm just gonna download my brain into yours today on this episode. I'm actually gonna turn my screen around and take you inside of Canva, which is a free online tool that you can use to create graphics, ebooks, YouTube thumbnails, anything that you can think of. This is such a simple, powerful tool. I've been using it for years, and I'm just gonna show you how you can easily, every single week, create multiple amounts of images quickly so that you could start to use them on your social media platforms, inside of your promotional marketing efforts, and really just go out there and help your brand stand out, create, if you want to add your specific colors and all of that fun stuff. But before I turn my screen around, I just want to invite you to subscribe to my channel below so you and we can hang out here together each and every single week. You and me, we're like this. We're going to be BFFs. All right, my friend, welcome to Canva. Let's dive in. As you can see, I use Canva for pretty much everything I do, whether it's Instagram posts or whether it's Facebook covers. There's so many different things you can use Canva for. You can do it to create email headers, blog banners, Facebook posts, flyers. There's also, I use it for my YouTube thumbnails. I use it to create my ebooks. It's just, the sky is the limit here, and you are going to have a blast. So before we get started with actually creating some graphics, I just want to do a quick walkthrough of how Canva works, and you're going to see how simple this is. So today we're going to be focusing on just a simple social media template. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the social media template now. And it's going to take me to a blank canvas, okay? And the first thing you're going to see over here is a little menu section, and you're going to notice that there's templates. Templates are amazing. If you feel like a fish out of water when it comes to creating graphics and you don't feel techie or you have a creative eye, I highly suggest focusing on templates because it's going to give you enough room to get creative on your own, but also give you some inspiration. So it's really simple to use the templates. All you do is you drag and drop it, and voila. From there, you can customize by either replacing what the text actually says, or deleting it altogether, or highlighting it and changing the color of it. So up here, you're going to see another menu, and it's, this is one you've seen before. So if you've ever used Microsoft Word or anything like that, you'll recognize this. So all you can do, you can start to bold things, you can change the colors, and notice on Canva you can set some presets up in the settings of Canva. When you create your account, you can actually, set your branded colors or your primary colors and all of that kind of stuff. Whatever element you are on, if I click on, notice I'm clicking on the background, this is going to give me the option to actually change the background if I want to change it. If I click on the image, it allows me to actually position it or actually make it transparent if I wanted to not make it, fully visible. I can actually delete it. I can come over to upload and upload my own image to add to it if I wanted to, everything's just really drag and drop, so it's super easy. So that is how templates work. The second step is elements. Now, elements are really cool because it adds texture. You can, add shapes and start, adding different images or graphics. So you can head over to photos. If you wanted to, let's say you wanted to create a makeup photo, maybe you're in the beauty industry. We can just kind of start from scratch here. I could drag this image over, and it either gives you the option. I know this is new with Canva. You can either drag it all the way into the image, or if you wanted to just size it yourself to be a certain a certain size, you can do that too. But I'm going to go ahead and drag it all the way in so it's here. And then what's cool is you can find, I found this through just searching for makeup. So you can go to photos and type in makeup. And this is good, if you're in the beauty niche, you can find cool little things that you can just drag in to overlay over your images. So sometimes there's actual photos, other times there's going to be little PNG graphics like this one here. So I can drag this in as an overlay to be part of my image, my graphic. And what's cool is you'll see these purple lines, so it lets you know when something's totally centered and all of that kind of stuff. So it gives you the graphs, which is really cool. The other thing about elements is you have photos, you also have graphics. So anything you want to search for, just pick a keyword or a term if you're looking for a particular something or other. This gives you a little bit more of like the PNG vibe or the cartoony kind of stuff. So you can search through all, so you can get standard images, or you can get more of the cutouts if you wanted to have more cutouts and things like that you can overlay over your graphics, or you could just search for photos. You'll notice some of them are free. If you scroll down, you'll notice there's probably some that you can pay for as well. They're $1 if you wanted to grab them. That's totally up to you. Or you can just search the actual graphics if you want to focus on more of the cutouts. And so basically that's what elements are. It's just a matter of overlaying. I also love using, if I X out of here, you'll see shapes. Sometimes I'll throw in a shape that I can rotate and use it as a corner piece. Again, this is another way to add texture, so you can, change the actual color and all of that kind of stuff, as well as there's charts if you wanted to include that, illustrations, icons. There's just a lot of stuff in here that you can really focus on. But don't forget about the search section, because if you are in travel, you can type in travel and there will be travel images that come up. If you're in health and wellness, you can type in health and you're going to see those types of images come up. So you can really have a lot of fun and get super creative with the elements. And here, this is where you can just customize and create your own text. As you can see, there are actual templates here that you can, again, drag over if you want to drag them over, or you can actually just click on the ones above here and create your own text. And once this pops up, you'll see the menu pop up to where you can change the size, change the color, change the font. You'll notice that if I'm using some fonts in here and you're like, why isn't that in Canva? It's because I went down here and uploaded them. I just went on to Google, found some free font sites and found fonts that I liked, and I uploaded them into Canva. So that's always an option if you want to find some preset or some custom actual fonts that you want to continue to use to create more brand awareness through the actual fonts that you use. And then we have background, which really this just allows you to change the background color. So I can, add an element, a picture, a graphic, or I can just do a very specific color. If I just come up here, I can add, here's like the whole color graph, so you can pick whatever color you want. And that's kind of cool how it did that. I like it. As well as uploads, this is just going to give you the option to upload images. So if you click on upload image, it's going to take you to your computer and allow you to pull from your files. So if you're finding any pictures out and about on the interwebs that you like, you can always incorporate them. Or if you're creating images, for example, this thumbnail I created for one of my YouTube videos, but I wanted to create a square image for Instagram to be able to promote, pointing people back to the YouTube video. I can create a square graphic and overlay this image in there and actually, right above or below, like where to direct people to. So you could do a lot of fun stuff like that as well. And then if you are super organized, you can organize all your photos amongst logos and books and the different types of, images you're actually uploading into Canva. You can organize them via folder, and there's also apps that you can actually use as well. I haven't really dived into the apps too much, but I'm sure they're amazing. So now that we have a little bit of an overview of how Canva works, let's dive in to actually creating some graphics. All right, we're moving right along. So The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you set aside some time to sit down and create a bulk amount of graphics. This is when batching or time blocking comes in, because it can take up a lot of those extra minutes throughout the day to just stop and think about what kind of graphic you want to create and then create it and then go post it. And so if you can just sit down for 30 minutes, an hour, maybe you're laying in bed with your laptop and watching a movie and you can just sit and create some graphics, this is going to make life so much easier. And you can actually map it out for a month, for a week, 2 weeks, however long you want to do this. So the first thing you want to do is have a running list of graphic quotes or tips or anything that any words you want to put on the images. Maybe there's some graphics you create where you don't even want images, but you just need to create the graphics, which is fine too. But just make sure you have a section on your phone in your notes. Maybe you use Evernote or the regular notes section. You want to have a section where you're actually keeping a running list of things that you would want to put on a graphic. So it just makes life easier for when you sit down to actually create them, you already have a running list of graphic quotes or tips that you can use. So I actually have a running list, and I am going to go ahead and paste that right here. I'll go ahead and resize it to make it easy to read. Perfect. So now that I have these here, it's just going to make it easy for me to start building out the graphics with copy paste. So now I'm going to add a new page. This is going to be my first graphic. What I want to do is come back up here and copy this text. Be sure to come click back down on this graphic image, click on text and paste. So that way the graphic or the quote is actually here. And again, you just want to make sure it's lined up evenly. So now that I have the quote here, I can go straight to the fonts that I love to use, the colors I love to use, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to highlight this and pick a font that I love to use. Let's go with Shutterstone. And what I'll do is highlight this first section because I love to pull in my brand colors and create a little bit of texture and that kind of stuff. Now what's cool too that I didn't show you is that you can use spacing. Sometimes I find there's so much space between each of the letters, so you can move the spacing, you can move the spacing of the words, all of that kind of stuff. So you can play with that a little bit as well. So once I have that done, I get it centered. And then what I'll do is, you know, for me, I'm keeping things very simple when I'm doing my quotes. I'm not really adding to actual images or anything like that. I'm keeping a blank canvas, but I like to add a little bit of texture just to spice it up. But this is just the look I'm going for on my Instagram account. And if I'm creating anywhere else, this is just kind of the vibe that I have for particular graphics with words. I'm going to go over to the elements and I'm going to search for the star background that I had found earlier right here. I'm going to drag this in. So it just gives it a little bit of texture. And I can either keep this color or I can add in one of my other colors, which I will do. Now notice when I dragged it in, it's actually covering the words. You might not be able to tell, but it is, because whatever element you drag in is going to rise to the top. So what you want to do is you want to position it and put it towards the back so that the words are actually what is the big focus. And then I'm going to actually create a little bit of transparency so it's there, but it's like not taking away from what's being said on the quote. So that is graphic number one. And this is just, if you're looking for a simple look, this is one way to do it. And again, you can always change the background color. If you wanted to remove this element, you could just add, you know, a totally different color, whatever color you want, whatever font you want, the sky's the limit. Okay. So, and if you mess up or you decide you want to go back to something up here, you can undo your work, you can redo your work, which is really, really cool. Now, what you're going to do is you're just going to keep going. You have all of your quotes and the things you want to say. So now I just go down to the second quote here. I'm going to hit copy, and then I'm going to add a new page. So that way we have a new page to work with. And I'm going to keep creating in this same file. And what I'm going to do is when I download it, it'll make a zip file. So let's go create. We're going to grab our text. I just typically use this main one up here. And then I customize what fonts and things that I like to use. Another way to do this is that you look at what is being said, always start with the end in mind, find out what your tribe needs most, and give them a solution. So I like to find images that make sense with what's being said if I'm going to use an image. You know, sometimes there's a mountain, but then something else is being said and it makes no sense. So I like to find things that are really relevant to give the image, like bring what's being said to life through the image. So if I look at this, it could just be maybe I find a desk picture, or I find, maybe you're in the health space. So you want to think from a health standpoint or a workout or a fitness standpoint. So depending on what niche you're in, you want it to be tailored to your niche, but also relevant to the image, which is makes sense. So this is where you can really start to bring the image to life with just pictures of yourself. This is where you want to think when you're out and about, when you're doing different things, taking pictures of you or having other people take pictures of you while you're out and about, so you can upload these and to start creating your own custom graphics. Or you can actually just, again, come back to the elements and maybe we type in running. Let's say you're in the health and wellness space. And so you can come over here and grab a graphic, drag it in, right? And this this graphic makes sense. If you want to use a graphic that's more towards this space, you could do that. And what's cool is if you really want this to all be in caps, you can click this little uppercase here and it will turn it all into caps for you, which is cool. And then you can go and find the actual font that you want to use. So whatever you think looks good, this is where your own creativity gets to come into play. So let's just grab this one here, and then you can just, again, size it to your liking of what you want it to be. Let's see, this looks good here. And now, again, you want it to be legible. So we're gonna go ahead and center it. I'm a fan of transparency, so I would probably make this a little lighter to help this stand out. And what's cool is you can come add another element if you want to. Let's find a frame. You just search for frames inside of graphics. And there's just a basic frame here. Here's one that's a little more styled. So you can actually frame the words if you want to, which is cool. So you can center it like so. And then you can change the color of the frame if you want to add a different color or element to it. It's totally up to you. So this would be another graphic done and done. Now you can go the opposite direction and maybe you want it to be a little darker. So then maybe you want, the words to be lighter. So again, just playing with that. So totally up to you. If you find you want white font, but this still isn't showing up well enough, you can always go and find a square, drag that in, and here's a little tricky trick that I use. I will make this black and I will position it to be in the back, and then make this transparent so it darkens up the image to where I can actually see the font. So if you're going for a darker look, that's another way that you can do it. So let's just call this image done. Now we move on to our third image. So now, again, we come back up, we grab our quote that we want, and we copy it. We click on the page 4 image, go over to text, click on the text, hit paste. So we have our new quote. So do you see how this could work rather quickly if you have all of your duckies in a row for the things you want to actually say on your graphics? We'll center this up. And again, read the quote. Whenever you see someone who is where you want to be, let's make sure it's that right. Don't compare. If you believe in yourself, you should be looking forward to the moment you arrive there. So I don't know if this is something I made up. Maybe it sounds like it. So this could, now I can, let's say I want to go find an image. Maybe I want to not put that, but this is a good example of just when you're out and about places, having people take pictures of you. So I was out at an event and this was a good setting. So what I can do is click on the image. I like to make things a little lighter. And then what I'll do is resize this to my liking. I'll grab whatever font looks good for this and see how it makes it a little bit smaller. And then I can just put it up here. And what I would do is grab an element, because this is probably going to be obviously too hard to see. So what I'll do, I changed my mind. Let's make this, what's cool is you can crop. If you click on the image, you can hit crop, and I can move myself over to the right more so that I can have this be here. And what I'll do is probably make this darker, grab and do the little trick that I did before, because this image just seems like it would work better to be darker. And we'll position it. We have to put that backwards so we can bring the actual font forward. And I can make this white or pink. Probably white looks best. There we go. And then you can kind of play with like where you want to position it. Over here, there's kind of words in the background, so that's kind of distracting. So we can just put it maybe right here in the center. And then if it's you that said the quote, you can actually put your name, right? And let people know. And you can do 2 different fonts if you want. It's totally up to you. And you can frame this, you can add other textures to it. It's totally up to you. So this is a done and done image. Now, again, we come up here, we rinse and repeat, and go grab our next quote and keep going. So hopefully this is giving you an idea of how much fun you can have with this and how quickly you can actually move when you just sit down to get them all created at one time. So what do you think? That wasn't so hard, right? You can do this. You have a creative mind. God gave you a creative mind. Use your imagination, have fun, get into Canva, and just start playing with it. And as you see other images out and about online and you get inspired, you can really start to just come back to Canva, blank canvas, use the templates, and be able to put your own spin on something else that inspired you. If you stay consistent and really start to put brand awareness out there, you're gonna be captivating your audience in no time. Speaking of captivating your audience, there's another video I am dying for you to check out. It's 6 ways to captivate your audience. Graphics are a great way to help slow people's scroll when you can really create something that catches their eye. But there's also some other strategies I want to share with you to help you get people going, say what? Plus, if you are not a member of my private community, Turn Purpose to Profit, why not? That is the most amazing community. We have hundreds and hundreds of Christian entrepreneurs, solopreneurs in there who love to build business, really learning how to step into faith, get out of the boat, and go out there and be your most courageous self, building the business of your dreams, as well as we talk a lot about scripture. We have some Q&A. A lot more training goes into that community as well, from myself and from others who are out there really just crushing it in their business. So be sure to head to this description below and you can join us inside of the private community. And as you're creating graphics, I would love to see them. Feel free to tag me or send them to me. I'd love to share them and promote them and let people see what you're coming up with and how Canva is working for you. That's it for today, my friend. Thank you so much for letting me hang out with you today. I absolutely love showing up on your side of the computer or phone, wherever you're watching this from, and I will see you next week. God bless.